Dear students, today we are going to learn the rounding of numbers. So, what is rounding of numbers? When we ask anyone what is their age, they say sometimes it has 12 years old. But actually, is it so? They may be 12 years and 3 months old, or maybe 12 years and 6 months old, or maybe something like that. But why are they saying so? Have you ever thought of it? Because it gives an accurate number, right? And how they are doing it? Have you ever thought of it? The process by which we make an accurate number is called rounding off. I think it is clear. The process by which we make accurate numbers is called rounding off. A number is rounded off to get an approximate number, which means it is about or close to that exact number. Once again, a number is rounded off to get an approximate number, which means it is about or close to that exact number. When we are trying to round off a number, we get an approximate number of what we are going to round off. It will not be the exact number, but it is always close to it, or it is near to it or next to it. We can understand like that. To round off a number to the nearest desired place value, we should consider the digit at the next lower place value and compare them. This is a main important thing while we are rounding off numbers. To round off a number, first of all, we have to consider a desired place value. Which number should be rounded off? So, after fixing that desired number, the next thing we have to think about is the next lower place value table. We have to look into it, and we have to compare that place value with y 5, and with after comparing only we will finish off the rounding off. Okay, so now we are going to see there are certain rules regarding the rounding off, and we have to be very careful with these rules. And the first rule is that if that digit at the lower place value is less than 5, we round off the given number by rounding down. That means by keeping the digit at the desired place same and writing 0 in all other lower places. My dear students, we have to be careful with the rule. I will explain what the rule it is. When we are going to round off a number, so we have to fix a desired place value. Let's say we are going to fix at the 10th place. So once we have fixed at the 10th place, we are going to round the 10th place a number to the nearest 10. So what we have to do is that the next place value, that is 1. I have to take the place value 1, and we have to see which number has come there, and I have to be compared with 5. Okay, and when we are comparing with the 5, if it is less than 5, then that process is called rounding down, which means that if the value is less than 5, then we keep the number in the tens place same, but the number that is in the place value of ones, since it is less than 5, we will write 0 over there. Okay, it is clear. So now we move on to the next rule. It is slightly just opposite it. If the number that comes in the lower place value, that earlier, for example, if we take 2-digit numbers and desired place is 10, and we want to round off the 10, then the ones value, the number that comes in the ones place, if it is greater than or equal to 5, then we round off the number. The process is called rounding up. And how do we do that? By adding 1 to the digit at the desired place, same, and writing 0 in all other place values. If you say, for example, what I heard is that if you are going to round off to the nearest 10, and we desired digit is 10th place, so if the number that is in the lower place, that is ones, is greater than or equal to 5, what we do? We have to add 1 to the tens place. So the digit changes one more, and after that we have to put zeros in the lower place value table, that is 1. Okay, 1's table. Okay, it will be more clear when we come to the examples. Okay, so now we move on to the examples. Along with that we will be learning 3 types. So the first one is rounding of number to the nearest 10. So my dear friends, we have to remember that whenever we are going to round off, first of all we have to keep in mind the place value table. So considering the nearest 10, we have to look into the place value tables of ones and tens. Since the desired number comes in the column of 10 and the lower table will be ones. So the number that comes in the ones has to be compared with the 5. And if the number that comes in the column of ones is less than 5, that means between 1 and 4, we can round off that number as 0 in the ones place. For example, if we round off 34, and with the table we have now we have to draw the place value table, and it has tens and ones, and 3 is the desired number we have to round off. So now we have to look into the column of ones. Here we have 4, which is less than 5. Therefore, we have to round it off to 0 in the ones place. Therefore, we get 30 as a round off number. In the same way, I have given 3-digit number and 4-digit number also. For example, in the 3-digit number, to round off to the nearest 10, you see, when you take 252, the 5 is the desired number, and you look into the 2. 2 is less than 5, so we are going to round down because it is less than. Okay, so when we get 250, the same way 5783, the 8 is the desired number, the tens place. Since we are going to round off to the nearest 10, and see, the desired number is 8, and now we have to look into the ones place, it is 3 there. So 3 is less than 5, so it is rounded down, and therefore we will go back to the number. Okay, so we will round downwards, therefore we get 5780. Now this is in the case of if number is less than. So now let us see if this number is greater than or equal to 5. So first of all, again we have to draw the place value table. So the number that will comes in the ones table is compared with 5. So if it is greater than or equal, means 5, between 5 and 9, then the important thing is that you have to remember, we have to round off the number by the increasing the digit at the tens place. So we have the desired number at the tens. When it is greater than or equal to 5, we have to increase one more number, and also we have to write 0 in the ones place. It will be more quite clear when you will get into the example. You just see, we are going to round off 48. So you see we have on the table, and it is ones and tens, and we have desired number is 4, and we have looked into ones table, that is 8. 8 is greater than 5. Therefore, we have to round off by increasing that digit at the tens place by 1 and writing 0 in the ones place. So we will get, since 8 is bigger than 5, we round up. We round up and we get 50. Okay, we are moving forward. The same way 345, since 4 is the desired number and 5 comes in the ones column. Since 5 is equal to 5, we round up and we get 350. And the same with the last number, 8437. 3 is the desired number. 7 is in the ones column. 7, since is greater than 5, we round up and we get 8440. So that is called rounding off to the nearest 10. So move on to the next topic, rounding off to the nearest 100. So now we have learned up to 2 digits or tens. Now we are going to learn how to round off nearest 100, that means 3 digit numbers. The same thing, we have to first look into the place value table, and then we have to compare the number that is in the tens table. This difference comes here. Earlier we have to compare the number in the ones table when it in the case of rounding of tens, but when it comes to 100 we have to compare the number in the tens table with 5, and if the number is less than 5, the same case, we round off the number as 0 in the tens table, and also additionally we have to make it 0 in the ones place also. I will show you the example, it will be quite clear. You are going we are going to round off 6342. You see, we have drawn the place value table, 6000, 100, tens and ones, and we have given the values. Now our desired number is 3, since it is in the hundreds table, and we are going to round off the 100. Now we have to look into the tens table. We have 4 in the tens table, which is less than 5. Therefore, we have to round it off in the tens table and ones table to 0, since it is less than 5. Therefore, we get it as 6300. Is it clear? I hope so. Now we see, if the number given is greater than or equal to 5, and in the case of a nearest rounding of to 100, since less than or equal to 5 means between 5 and 9. The same procedure that we have done in the nearest 100 is repeated here. The only thing is that there it was in the tens table we added 1, but here we add 1 at the hundreds table, and also we write zeros in tens and ones column. Okay, you have to remember one thing, that in the 100 rounding off near to the 100, when it is less than greater than or equal to 5, 1 is added to the hundreds table, and the rest of the columns like tens and ones are made to zeros. You will see an example, 8754, and it is written in the column. You see 1000, 100, tens and ones. Now desired number to round off is 100. So we have 7 as desired number. Now we look into the tens table. And 5. 5 is which is equal to 5. Therefore, we round off and increasing up 1 digit in the 100 place and writing zeros in the tens and 1 place. Therefore, we get it as 8000. Now, we are now rounding off to the nearest 1000. The same procedure is repeated. First, we have to look the drawing to place value table. Then we have to compare the number. Here, again the column increases. Earlier it was tens, and in the case of 1000, 100, it was hundreds table, and in the thousands case, it is the 100 table we are going to compare, since the desired number is in the 1000 table. So, if the number is less than 5, between 1 and 4, we round off to 0 in 100, tens and ones place. The number that is in the 1000 column remains the same. Okay, it is once more. When the number is less than 5 in the hundreds column, we don't change the number in the 1000 column, but the rest of the columns like 100, tens and ones may be made into 0. Example, we are going to round off 43,256. So we have made it in the column. 10,000, 1,000, 100,000, tens and ones. We have 2 which is less than 5. Therefore, it is round off to 0 in the 100. Where does the 2 comes? Since 3 is the desired number and 2 is the number that is next to the desired number, we have to compare with the 5. Since 2 is less than 5, which means we have to come round off into zeros, rest of all the columns. So the result will be 43,000. In the same way, if the number is greater than or equal to 5, in the case of rounding off to the nearest 1,000, we have to see how it is added up in the place of 1,000, in the 100, and then we write zeros in the place of tens and ones. You see, we have taken a number 7,654. Now the table is drawn and everything is clear with it. I hope. And the 1,000, 10,000, 100, tens and ones, columns, values. And the desired number we have to round off is 8. So we have to look it into the hundreds table. Okay. So since 6 is greater than 5, therefore we have to round off the increasing the digit at the 1,000 placed by 1 and writing 0 in the 100 and tens and ones place. Therefore the number becomes 79,000. Okay, once again, since it is greater than 5, we round up. Round up means the tens, thousands place we add 1 and the rest of the columns like 100, tens, ones will be made into zeros. I think it is quite clear for you. Okay, we will be learning some